Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 340 based on novel. So let's start. This guy. Little Zhuama couldn't help muttering while looking at Xiao Yang's quiet suspension in midair and the endless majesty emanating from the golden scroll. Why does this golden scroll have the breath of a holy king? And this guy can devour several kinds of holy flames into one at the same time. Could it be that he? After a while, little Dolma's beautiful eyes slowly turned, wondering. Holy King, this is one of the strongest people in the Great Thousand World. Although Xiao Zhuama is the spirit of holy flames, his existence is quite young, and he just learned from the undead fire that this so-called holy king has no idea what he has experienced, but it seems that he has obtained 36 holy flames. The trust and convincing of the first time between heaven and earth, the evil race from outside the territory was eyeing, and the 36 holy flames tried to submit to the holy king and were willing to be swallowed by him, thus establishing a real holy race and helping the holy king to step into the real world. Of the highest realm. Fighting God. It's a pity that he was rejected by the holy king for some reason, but that's the case. The strength and character of the holy king are also admired by all Saint Yang. As for the reason, I am afraid it is unknown. As for the holy king, he relied on his special power to devour several kinds of holy flames at the same time. Now Xiao Yang has the aura of a holy king on his body, which is why Xiao Zhuama has such a change. I hope I think too much. Seeing Xiao Yang's rising strength, Xiao Zhuama helplessly shook his head. What kind of character is the holy king? How could he have too much involvement with Xiao Yang? As Xiao Zhuama became quiet, Xiao Yang's expression slowly returned to calm. Bang bang bang. A few days passed easily, and one day, Xiao Yang's pupils suddenly opened, and in the void inside the holy temple of the Undying, bursts of flames like fireworks exploded, completely igniting the place. Just like the real molten world. Finally, successful. Xiao Yang just opened his eyes, and suddenly squeezed his fist involuntarily, feeling the abundant power in his body. He couldn't help laughing. Just after using Fen Ju to devour the undead fire, Xiao Yang's body and even his pupils glowed with strange fluctuations. It seemed that because of the undead fire, some changes occurred on Xiao Yang's body that he was not aware of. Feel the power, Xiao Yang said happily after blinking. This is the middle stage of the 5-star fighting immortals. Xiao Yang closed his eyes slightly, and the power in his body went along the meridians in his body. After a few breaths, he couldn't help but lose his voice. Devouring holy flame can actually increase your own strength. Seeing Xiao Yang's scene, Xiao Zhuama also felt incredible. Before swallowing the undead fire, Xiao Yang's strength was only at the mid-level of the 4-star fighting immortal, but now in the past few years, when Xiao Yang has completely swallowed the undead fire, his strength has actually reached the level of the mid-level 5-star fighting immortal. This kind of jump, but quite eye-catching. After all, the difference between the middle stage of the 4-star Dozian and the middle stage of the 5-star Dozian is not even a little bit, and if it is normal practice, I am afraid that if there is no strange opportunity, it will be difficult for hundreds of years to complete it. Congratulations, little Dolma said with a smile. Thank you, senior, for making it happen. Xiao Yang temporarily suppressed the excitement in his body and said with his fists folded. Now that the strength has reached the middle stage of the 5-star fighting immortals, the Acacia Flame Realm in the former half of the realm can also be thoroughly cultivated. In addition to the tyranny of the mysterious fighting spirit of his own internal flame-swallowing technique, today's Xiao Yang may be able to compete with the real 6 stars. Immortal early-stage powerhouses compete with each other. This is your fighting spirit, it has successfully evolved into the heaven, but don't use it for the time being, let it get used to this new power. After a while, a dim light shot towards Xiao Yang, the dim light naturally, there is the undying nether sparrow fighting soul, but now, its figure is more solid, and the countless grey lines on its body are more dazzling. Obviously it is not what it used to be. Xiao Yang took back the fighting spirit without hesitation, and immediately the grey flames continued to nourish it. I am afraid that in the near future, this fighting spirit will increase his combat power beyond words. Something's wrong, this Fen Ju. After a while, Xiao Yang's expression became strange. Obviously now Fen Ju has completely evolved to the peak level of the holy rank, and in the next step, he can step into the real level of immortality. Fen Ju has already reached the holy rank before, but now, with the power of immortal fire, it is enough for him to step into the realm of immortality. But I always feel that something is wrong. Xiao Yang shook his head. Moreover, Xiao Yang secretly felt that this Fen Ju is far from being that simple. The so-called 6 realms of Fen Ju, even now, is quite lax. Even the one who cultivated before, did not enter the room. Xiao Yang has a kind of illusion. It seems that only by breaking the level of Fen Ju cultivation technique can you be qualified to explore the so-called 6 realms. Since the immortal fire has been successfully transferred, it's time for me to leave. At that time, seeing Xiao Yang's appearance, Xiao Zhuama smiled. Senior, where are you going? Xiao Yang asked. The world is so big that there is always a place for me to hide, and the strange little beast from before will not be low in the future. Perhaps soon, those guys will make a comeback. This time, without the protection of the Holy King and many strong men, the Great Thousand World is at risk. Speaking of this, Xiao Zhuoma's expression became serious for the first time. The stronger the strength, the greater the responsibility on the body. I hope that when the aliens attack in the future, you little guy can contribute to our great world, and I will give you the fire of immortality in vain. Xiao Zhuoma shook her head. The younger generation should take the lead. By the way, senior, what is the source of this undead fire? After a while, Xiao Yang suddenly remembered something and said excitedly, the source technique of Holy Flame is exclusive to Holy Flame, and each Holy Flame is different. You put your soul power into the Holy Flame crystal. Xiao Zhuoma said after Xiao Yang asked. His mind moved, the grey Holy Flame crystals appeared in Xiao Yang's hands, and Xiao Yang's eyes closed slightly, and the dazzling soul power penetrated into it, exploring the origin of the undead fire. Immortal and indestructible, break and stand up. After a quarter of an hour, Xiao Yang spoke slowly. I remember that the previous owner of Undying Fire, once because of an enemy whose strength reached the level of the 8-star Fighting Immortal, he went to challenge the 7-star Fighting Immortal, and he disappeared after being seriously injured. 10 years later, he appeared again, and his strength has skyrocketed to the level of the 8-star Fighting Immortal. No one knows what happened, but I think this is the origin of the undead fire, and the secret of it, you still need to understand it yourself. Dorma said. Break and then stand. 7-star Fighting Immortal. Xiao Yang kept echoing. It's over, it's time for me to go. After you leave, the holy tan of the Undying will return to my hands. Little guy, big sister is optimistic about you. I hope to see you next time, and you will be able to be worthy of your status as the controller of your 4 holy flames. As soon as the voice fell, a light-like figure flashed randomly, and little Dolma disappeared here. Congratulations to the junior. Seeing this, Xiao Yang nodded lightly, and then respectfully bowed to the place where little Dolma disappeared. After a few minutes, the space was completely quiet, because at this time there was only Xiao Yang here. However, for this reason, the journey of immortal fire can be regarded as a successful conclusion. This time, not only did he help the fighting spirit evolve, but he even devoured the undead fire. Xiao Yang was the one who received the most goods, but what awaited Xiao Yang next was an unprecedented battle. Forget it, since this Undying Saint Tan space is so mysterious, let's take out the domain of the body first, and it will save a lot of time. With the departure of Xiao Zhuoma, Xiao Yang originally wanted to leave directly. Go, but fortunately, this place can last a month outside, so Xiao Yang intends to stay and completely solve the internal affairs. The source of undead fire is to break and stand up. Although this thing is mysterious, it is also a great help. However, it seems that this thing is too tasteless for me. I am afraid that it will need to bloom in the future. Its brilliance. The grey flame on the palm of the hand slowly beat, Xiao Yang said with mixed joy and worry. I'm afraid it will be the Second World War. I don't know if the teacher succeeded. It seems that before I leave here, I have to adjust my strength to the peak. After I go out, I can do my best for the teacher and the others. As soon as he finished speaking, Xiao Yang suddenly clenched his fists slowly. In the middle stage of the 5-star Fighting Immortal, coupled with the various means on Xiao Yang's body, he now has the capital to confront the enemy head-on. As long as he does not encounter a particularly abnormal 6-star Fighting Immortal powerhouse, Xiao Yang can fight against it. Now in the body, the power of Xiao Lei's soul clone is as strong as mine, which can be described as a trump card. With the addition of the Dragon God's 3rd transformation Tyrant's pattern defense, and the Fire God's **** of assassination, lurking, domain, fighting spirit. However, the most important thing is these few holy flames. There is not enough time now. Otherwise, the products of the fusion of several holy flames will not be inferior to the top 15 holy flames in power. Xiao Yang sensed the bright light in his body. A few holy flames, excitedly said. However, this is something that can't be helped. Although there are 4 holy flames in Xiao Yang's body now, except for Mu Yingying's holy flames that cannot be used, the other 3 are separate and not integrated. First, integration requires a lot of time. Second, it came to fear the powerhouses of the ghost world, because once the ghost face and soul flames fuse, the power released in an instant will make Xiao Yang fall into a real crisis. But if these 3 holy flames fuse, the new holy flames will probably not be better than the top ones. 15th holy flame is weak. First adjust the breath to the peak, and then solve the 2-domain war. Look for acacia broken enteric inflammation. Yingying, wait for me. Xiao Yang said contentedly, placing his palm on his chest, a trace of warmth emerged. Acacia flame territory, come out. After a while, Xiao Yang's pupils suddenly trembled, and the dazzling energy completely surrounded Xiao Yang like a tide. Crash. With Xiao Yang's voice, a burst of pink power like ripples spread out in all directions with Xiao Yang as the center. 5-star fighting immortal late stage? With the formation of the pink realm, Xiao Yang opened his mouth slightly. Because of the mysterious power of lovesickness in the Acacia Flame domain, as early as in the semirealm, it could weaken the enemy by 1 level and increase his own power by a small level. Xiao Yang was not too surprised by this. Is the range of the half-field only a few hundred meters? After a while, feeling the extremely strong dominance in the field, Xiao Yang casually glanced at himself and the half-field was completely covered within 100 meters, and said immediately, "It doesn't matter, with my current strength, I can completely shape the half-field, but I don't know if anything unexpected will appear." As he spoke, Xiao Yang's palm filled with profound aura. At this time, the fighting chi was still the normal red, but the tyranny of the fighting chi was several times that of normal people. After all, after being tempered by Xiao Yang's holy flame, the power would be appalling, but if Xiao Yang merged with the holy flame, the fighting chi would using the fusion of holy flames instead, that kind of formidable power. I am afraid it is enough to achieve the real killing invisible brilliant do chi continued to emerge from Xiao Yang's body, and immediately poured into the half-field of several hundred meters, the Acacia Flame realm, and with Xiao Yang's actions, the pinkish pink inside. This half-field was then injected. The space of color actually turned into a thick pink liquid, which immediately paved the way for a field with a size of 100 meters to a kilometer, and even this field was full of mysterious power. A few days passed in a blink of an eye. Xiao Yang used his power quite lightly these days, and Xiao Yang found that only 5-star fighting immortals can control the domain, and the repairs are only half completed in the past few days. In the realm, the fighting spirit required is far from being comparable to a 4-star fighting immortal. This is finally complete, the Acacia Flame realm in its true state. Xiao Yang was in it, looking down at this void like a master from a height below zero, and said with satisfaction, "Acacia Flame domain in its true state, this is a pink void, the void is only a kilometer in size, but the grey flames and pink liquid filled everywhere inside make it extremely mysterious and dangerous. In the Acacia Flame domain, there is not only Xiao Yang's immortal fire breath, but also the power of pink acacia that has been brought from the acacia tree. The power of acacia is mysterious and unpredictable, even Xiao Yang is just a half understood. It's time to go. After a little induction, I found that Acacia Yenyu didn't change much after reducing the enemy by 1 level and strengthening me by 1 level. However, if others were involved here, Xiao Yang would be enough. Confidence kills it. Wait, this is it." Just when Xiao Yang just put away the pink field, Xiao Yang's whole body, a grey mist spread out, also the size of thousands of meters, but within the grey mist the power contained is actually suffocating. The field. Undying fire territory? Just when Xiao Yang was puzzled, the holy flame crystal of undying fire, which was hidden by Xiao Yang in the Do Chi Sea, trembled abruptly, and a majestic message poured into Xiao Yang's mind. The realm of undead fire, the realm of undead fire. Having this realm is enough to die once in the true sense. After filtering the majestic information, some important words were extracted. Death once. Xiao Yang wondered for a while. Death means being in the realm. If you are hit by a fatal blow from a powerhouse under the 7-star fighting immortals, you can rely on the power of the undead fire realm to avoid it or be reborn gushing. That is to say, if you encounter a fatal situation, you can rely on the power of this domain to avoid a fatal blow. Xiao Yang said in shock. Nice one. The undying fire domain can now withstand a fatal blow from a 7-star fighting immortal powerhouse, and the upper limit will become higher as the domain increases. However, just one of the 2 fields consumes too much. I'm afraid you can only use one of them in a fight, but that's enough. Let's go. He glanced at the back lightly, and immediately Xiao Yang walked towards the outside world without any hesitation. At the same time, only 6 months have passed in the outside world, and in these 6 months, Li Huanyu has already been in a lot of war. Under Li's soul domain, outside the holy tan of the undying. Damn bastard, it's actually 3 holy flames coexisting in one body, how is this possible? On a quiet path, dozens of figures were hidden here. This is the only way to leave the holy tan of the undying. As for the people who are guarding this place at this time, it is the powerful people from the Court of Adjudication. The leader is the next disciple of the Court of Judgment, named Yu Tianxian, whose strength has reached the late stage of the 5-star Dozian, with dozens of judgment guards behind him. The lineup was to capture Xiao Yang. Captain, it's been a few months now, the power of flames in the inner space of the holy tan of undying is getting more and more terrifying. Even with our strength, we can't feel the slightest bit that Xiao Yang's middle 4-star fighting immortal stage. I am afraid he has completely fallen to the undead. Inside the holy tan, right? Now that the demons of light are aggressively attacking Li's soul territory, how can we waste time here? We should go to the front line. At this time, some figures were a little sullen in their hearts, and they couldn't help but come to Yu Tianxian with rather ugly faces and said, I can't blame them. After all, they have been waiting here for nearly half a year, and they have been inseparable for half a year, even if they have not let go of the flies. For this reason, Xiao Yang's figure is still missing. Things have made Li Huanyu panic now, so their tense hearts can't help but become so violent. No. Xiao Yang is carrying 3 holy flames. If he can be captured, it will greatly increase the strength of our Li Soul territory, so this trip, the headmaster has clearly ordered that Xiao Yang must be captured, and we must see it. Humans, die to see corpses. Yu Tianxuan's azure aura spread out like ripples while he spoke, and the huge aura made the other dozens of adjudication guards feel a little chill in their hearts. It's finally out, I hope it's too late. After Shun-Chi, a depressed figure, carrying a black ruler behind him, stood slightly in the void outside the holy Tan of the Undying, looking at the void in the distance and muttered. This guy is none other than Xiao Yang, but now Xiao Yang is not what it used to be in terms of strength and aura. Whoa. Who? Get out. Just as Xiao Yang's eyes were withdrawn, his brows suddenly wrinkled, and a dazzling fighting spirit permeated. Xiao Yang. Yu Tianxian took a step forward, his incomparably dazzling aura was undoubtedly on display, and he sneered. Yu Tianxian couldn't understand why the powerhouses in the Court of Adjudication ordered him to bring so many powerhouses to arrest Xiao Yang, a mere 4-star fighting immortal mid-level guy who could be wiped out with just one finger. The middle stage of the 4-star fighting immortals? Dozens of people who were surrounded by circles completely blocked Xiao Yang's retreat, and couldn't help but muttered. Today's Xiao Yang's strength has already reached the middle stage of the 5-star fighting immortals, but fortunately, he deliberately suppressed his breath, and coupled with the mysterious suppression of the eternal fire eternal ancient ruler, only such power was revealed. 10 mid 5-star fighting immortals, 1 late 5-star fighting immortal. Is it the Guardian of Judgment? Xiao casually glanced at him and smiled lightly. If he encountered these guys before swallowing the fire of immortality, I am afraid that he would be extremely difficult to deal with, but now that Xiao Yang is facing them, it is unknown who will win and who will lose. Xiao Yang, you have already been listed on the list of trial orders. Don't make senseless resistance, accept the sanctions. Yu Tianxian stared at Xiao Yang and said word by word. As an outstanding disciple in the Court of Adjudication, Yu Tianxuan's strength is even stronger than Yu Xiao, but he also knows that the strength of Sheng Yang's strength is appalling, so even if Xiao Yang's strength is weak, he does not take it lightly. In a hurry, let's go up together. Xiao Yang shook his head casually, his palms shook gently, and the ancient ruler of eternal fire Heng suddenly pulled out from behind. Extremely arrogant. When I wait for you to be captured, I will let you taste what life is better than death. Dozens of adjudication guards were furious when they heard the words. The alliance of a mid 5-star fighting immortal powerhouse, even a late-stage 5-star fighting immortal powerhouse would not dare to confront him head-on. There's a lot of nonsense. Xiao Yang ignored these guys, and a trace of thunder appeared on his body. With the addition of the ancient ruler of eternal fire on his palm, his figure turned into a ghost and shot at Yu Tianxian. Thunder attribute. How is that possible? Seeing Xiao Yang's actions like this, Yu Tianxian couldn't help but wonder, but for a moment he hesitated, his palms changed rapidly, and a dazzling cyan hurricane burst out around him. Xiao Yang did not use the power of flame, but planned to use Xiao Lei's power to see if he could defeat these guys. Otherwise, if Xiao Yang in the current state used the power of flame, I am afraid that these people would not be able to get out of Xiao Yang's 3 moves. The fire attributes under the blessing of the 4 holy flames are more than 8 times more powerful than ordinary flames. Thunder Snake. Spreading his palm, he pushed Yu Tianxian hard. The majestic force turned into a silver snake that was only a few dozen feet in size, and whistled away. The cyclone wall. Kill me. Seeing Xiao Yang's weak thunder snake, Yu Tianxian sneered and slapped Xiao Yang with his palm, and the 100-jong blue hurricane blasted towards Xiao Yang with the power to destroy. Retreat. With this attack from the captain, this guy will definitely die. Seeing Yu Tianxuan's tyrannical attack, dozens of other guards of judgment burst back. What a dazzling wind attribute. It seems that I underestimated it. But I'm in a hurry, so I'm not interested in playing with you. Seeing this dangerous cyan hurricane, Xiao Yang shook his head helplessly. Although Xiao Lei's power is tyrannical, Xiao Yang has too few fighting skills, so his attack power is weak. Unable to cope with Yu Tianxian. Fire. The next moment, a grey flame filled Xiao Yang's body, and after a while, it was like a barren land, completely rendering the range of hundreds of meters. What kind of flame is this? Seeing such mysterious fluctuations on Xiao Yang's body, the other powerhouses couldn't help but murmured. The 7th layer breaking sky ruler. He spoke softly, the ancient ruler of the eternal fire on his palm was wrapped in flames, and he slashed hard at Yu Tianxian. Boom. 7 giant rulers of grey energy rushed out like poisonous snakes, and then easily penetrated the blue hurricane and attacked Yu Tianxian. This is Holy Flame Immortal Fire. Impossible. When the giant ruler of 7 flames came to Yu Tianxuan's face was pale, and he finally understood something. Sir, save me. With a cold snort, Yu Tianxian did not hesitate, and crushed a piece of jade on the palm of his hand. The jade was crushed, and an illusory figure appeared. With a wave of his hand, Xiao Yang's 7 giant rulers completely dissipated. Is it the headmaster of the Court of Adjudication? Xiao Yang shook his head helplessly. Judging from this fluctuation, although it was just a soul clone, its strength was also at the level of 7-star fighting immortals. The smell of immortal fire. You actually succeeded. The old man looked at Xiao Yang in a dignified manner and asked in doubt. Forget it, it's time to go. Xiao Yang smiled lightly, and immediately above his body, 3 flames covered and ignited, like a real flame spirit. The head teacher of the Court of Adjudication, dare to touch my master's disciple? Give me death. Just when Xiao Yang was about to be captured by the illusory old man, a loud laugh resounded through the sky. With a sound, a black figure appeared, and with a single blow, he wiped out the illusory old man's soul avatar. Then, without any hesitation, he took Xiao Yang and disappeared here. This so-called Soul Eater is at least 8-star in strength. Bastard. People from Soul Eater realm. Yu Tianxian shook his head viciously at this scene of the old man. He knew that the grey flame on Xiao Yang's body just now was an immortal flame. Xiao Yang, who was blessed by the 4 holy flames, plus the inexplicable relationship between Xiao Yang and Soul Eater. This time, I'm afraid things will change. The shadow surged and left the holy tan of the Undying in an instant. This guy isn't a powerhouse in Soul Eater domain. Xiao Yang was casually lifted by the shadow and headed towards some hidden places in Li Soul domain. At first Xiao Yang didn't take it seriously, thinking that this guy was from Soul Eater domain powerhouse, but looking closely now, this guy's aura is extremely strange, and there is a green glow surrounding his black robe. The green glow is extremely domineering and makes one's mind rippling. This kind of strange power is something Xiao Yang has never seen before. Even with Xiao Yang's soul power, he could vaguely feel that this guy has always followed him, but now he is in danger before he takes action. This lord. The two moved quickly. Xiao Yang couldn't help asking. There was already a trace of vigilance in his mind. Hearing Xiao Yang's voice, the black shadow stopped moving, and the two stopped on a rock. Immediately, their eyes became deep, and they took off their black robes, revealing their true colors. That weird person from before. Xiao Yang couldn't help being surprised when this guy's ordinary appearance just appeared. This guy is actually the weirdo who stopped him from outside the holy tan of the Undying in the first place. Little guy. He Long was not hypocritical, and grinned. He was no longer arrogant, but treated Xiao Yang quite calmly. Senior, this. Xiao Yang was immediately confused and asked immediately. With the battle just now and Xiao Yang's induction, this guy's strength is probably as strong as Hao Enia, and it is a blessing or a curse to be targeted by a powerhouse of this level. I have no ill will towards you, I just want to. Heishan Longlang said, and a piece of delicate paper spread out from the palm of his hand. Treasures of the demon world, collect demon sales, and some creatures can be included in it. Crash. Just as the black evil dragon wolf approached Xiao Yang, a black light appeared on Xiao Yang's body, turning into a faint light to protect Xiao Yang. Hey, let's go, let's go. After a while, Heishan Longlang shook his head helplessly. Farewell. Seeing this, Xiao Yang didn't hesitate, immediately opened his palm, and the space passage in front of him was torn apart. Without any hesitation, he suddenly stepped into the space passage and headed towards the base camp of soul-devouring domain. Isn't it a Soul Eater realm? If the adults are still there, the Soul Eater realm is not worth mentioning. During the speech, a dim light around the Heishan Longlang also disappeared, but the power above this dim light, some similar to Hao Nias. And looking at this battle, the battle of the 3 domains is about to begin, so I'm still looking forward to it, hey. After Heishan Longlang finished speaking, he also disappeared here. Xiao Yang, young man, are you alright? A soft voice sounded shortly after Xiao Yang entered the space. Ghost son. Xiao Yang followed, but found this acquaintance. This guy was a subordinate of the Master of Soul Eater who was rescued on Icefire Island. After that, he took the Soul Eater talisman to Soul Eater domain to rescue soldiers. Leader of a war. Xiao Yang Shaoxia has been completely listed as one of the trial list by Li Huanyu, so the adults ordered me to wait for Xiao Yang Shaoxia again. Ghost Soul said. However, the ghostly soul found that Xiao Yang seemed to have a rather mysterious power at this time, and even his own 6-star fighting immortal was difficult to detect, which made the ghostly soul quite curious. Well, by the way, the mysterious power just now is? Xiao Yang asked casually. It's the Queen's. Well, time is running out. I'll take you to the base camp. The Queen and everyone are waiting for you, and now that the Demon of Light has attacked Li Huanyu for half a year, the real battle between the two sides is about to begin. The voice just ended. The two turned into a black light and moved rapidly in the space channel. Elsewhere in Li Soul territory, the terrifying battles continued, and the demon guards under the Demon of Light were tyrannical. At the beginning of the battle, thousands of demon guards were used to defeat the top leaders of Li Soul territory, but fortunately Li Soul territory the background is not cheap, and after a turnaround, he also resisted the demon guard. However, RAO is that the two forces have been at war for so long, and none of them is stronger than the 8-star fighting immortal level powerhouse, and even the 2 powerhouses deliberately avoid it. Where Soul Eater is located, above the spaceship. Your Majesty. At this time, in a quiet house inside the ship, several figures stood quietly, and some of them couldn't help but say, "How's the battle between the Demon of Light and Lee Soul territory going?" Hao Enaya, who was in a high position, frowned and said slightly, and there were bursts of worry on her delicate face. Now the Master of Soul Eater has not yet left the retreat, but with the attack of the Demon of Light, there are too many people who are dissatisfied with these spaceships that gather half of the Soul Eater Xeon. Their trip was to crusade against the Lord of the Soul, and now that the Demon of Light has made a move, their success rate will be greatly increased. But even so, Hao Enaya, the acting domain master who controls the army, has made many strong men stand still, so the grievances are even worse. I don't know how the battle is going. I take the liberty to ask the Queen, Her Majesty is leading the army here, is it just to observe and then go back in dismay? At this time, a man in silver armor sat on the seat. Standing up, he clasped his fists and said, with deep resentment in his voice, "Bai Zi, talk about the battle situation." Seeing that nearly 90% of these strong men were so resentful, Hao Enaya disagreed, and the jade ring on the jade hand turned slightly and said, "Queen, the Demons of Light have now captured 1/5 of the territory in Lee Soul territory, but where they passed, there was no blood, no burning, killing, and looting. Instead, it was extremely peaceful. They completely ignore the civilians and general forces in Lee Soul territory, but they have used a crazy attack on the lower 5 courtyards of Lee Soul territory and the shrine of the Lord of Lee Soul. Although they haven't broken any place yet, their subordinates are guessing. Once there is a gap in any of the 5 courtyards, I am afraid that they will directly avoid the 5 courtyards and go to the Temple of the Lord of Souls. Their goal seems to be the Shrine of the Lord of Souls, or the Lord of Souls." Bai Zi said respectfully, "Queen, go ahead. If you don't do it, I'm afraid the fighter plane is fleeting." The figures of the generals also said in a loud voice, "Humph. I told my master a long time ago that a girl is not good enough." At this time, several white-haired old men among the crowd snorted coldly, their voices filled with dissatisfaction with Hao Enaya. "Queen, Xiao Yang Xiaoxia, return safely." The next moment, in this tense situation, Hunyuzi and Xiao Yang appeared one after another. "Elder Devourer, what do you mean by that?" Hao Enaya glanced at Xiao Yang lightly, and then turned to look at several old men. "It's a big mistake if you don't fight. If you don't fight, you will waste the opportunity, and the master will hand the Soul Eater domain into your hands." The old man laughed at himself. "Elder Eater, the Queen is now the domain owner of Soul Eater domain. You are blaspheming the master's order. What should you be guilty of?" In an instant, Bai Zi's ghostly souls shouted loudly, "Let's fight." This time, Li Huanyu must pay the price. Listening to the quarrel in the house, Hao Enaya smiled slightly, and then suddenly burst out with the majesty of a superpower. The reason why Hao Enaya has not fought is because of Xiao Yang. Now that Xiao Yang has returned safely, it is naturally the last step. 8 stars. Consummation. It was quiet in an instant. Bai Zi, eat the sky, summon all the generals on the current ship, and in 10 minutes, divide the attack route under the master statue. In an instant, with Hao Enaya's tyrannical voice, the pressure of the superiors permeated, like a true overlord of heaven and earth. There is no doubt that the Queen's breath is on display. "My subordinates take orders." As Hao Enaya's voice fell, the eyes of several strong men suddenly glowed with gloom, and they said excitedly, "After waiting for so long, it was finally time to start a complete war," and with Hao Enaya's opening, the entire Soul Eater domain also took action, and everyone's grievances against her disappeared. No matter what, Hao Enaya's strength Xinxing is among the top ranks in Soul Eater domain. Outside Soul Eater domain, she is more prosperous under her rule, so everyone is willing to be dispatched. After a while, only Xiao Yang and Hao Enaya were left here. "Senior sister, teacher, he." Seeing no one around, Xiao Yang couldn't help but ask slightly. Teacher should be in a special void at this time to recover his strength, but even if there is a Chiju Diversion Soul Cup, I don't know how long it will take. And now I don't know why, the Demon of Light attacked Lee Soul territory with all her strength. This is a fighter that we can't delay. The subordinates are very resentful. If they don't start a war, I'm afraid people will panic. Blinking said, the suppression of the strong men has caused a lot of dissatisfaction, and now it is just taking advantage of Xiao Yang's return to trigger a battle. War. Xiao Yang nodded helplessly. Obviously, a battle of this level is destined to lose many strong people, and such a scene is probably shocking. Senior sister, could this be the conspiracy of the Devil of Light? Xiao Yang asked tentatively. No, the origin of the Light Demon is mysterious, and it is said that the Light Demon and the Master of Lee Soul have a mortal hatred, so I don't know the details. And even if it is a conspiracy, it can only be hard, but even if it is a conspiracy, I can make them pay the price. Hao Enaya responded, and the voice contained a terrifying fluctuation that was enough to make the world pale. Is there anything I can help? Xiao Yang asked after a few minutes of calm. It's fine for now. However, I found that little junior brother, your body seems to be a little different from before. At the end of the sentence, Haoenia said with a smile, being able to let Haoenia say this is enough to show how tyrannical the things in Xiao Yang's body are. I devoured the fire of immortality. Now that my strength has reached the mid-stage of the 5-star fighting immortals, I should be able to help senior sister and you. Xiao Yang said directly without concealing it. No wonder. However, this battle involves too much, and there are foreign evil clans and many hidden forces that are eyeing them. You should not participate. This is also to protect you. After all, the identity of the master of the Holy Flame and the Xiao clan. Look with Xiao Yang like this, how Enea hesitated. Senior sister, I'm also the teacher's disciple, and the teacher's hatred, I must participate, and I also need Acacia brokenheartitis. I can't help but participate in this battle. Xiao Yang clenched his fists tightly, and said with a stern brow. But at worst, you're going to die. I won't die, senior sister, believe me. I can't explain to the teacher when you are dead. Sister, you. Inside the quiet house, Xiao Yang and Haoenia quarreled word by word. Forget it, the master explained it to me before retreating, and it really can't beat you. You can participate in this battle, but remember to do your best. As for Acacia broken enteritis, I am afraid it is still in the hands of the Lord of Lisol at this time. And according to the news I got, it seems that the retreat of the Lord of Souls is not over. After the outbreak of this war, you can take advantage of the chaos to join the Temple of the Lord of Souls, and I will send you to a team, but you have a special status and are wanted by Li Huanyu, so you need to disguise yourself. Haoenia kept saying. Did you dress up? Xiao Yang said with a slight smile. The source of ghost face and soul flame is camouflage. Although this camouflage is only useful for the ghost world, using this kind of camouflage, unless the 8-star fighting immortal powerhouse takes action, otherwise, it will not be detected. Thank you, senior sister. Xiao Yang nodded happily when he heard the words. This is a range that he can accept, and whether it is the Second Domain War or Acacia Heartbroken, it is very important to Xiao Yang. By the way, senior sister, your power. After a while, Xiao Yang wondered. Now Haoenia's power has actually reached the 8-star Dozian consummation, and this level of power is already as tyrannical as the peak-level Soul Eater. In order to make this war a complete success, the teacher gave me the Soul Eater talisman. I devoured it and reached this point. Haoenia said helplessly. When the master of Soul Eater gave the Soul Eater talisman to himself, Haoenia said helplessly. Is resolutely not, because the Soul Eater who broke through the reincarnation needs this thing more than himself. Unfortunately, after the last Soul Eater retreated, Haoenia found that the soul information left by the teacher was only the same. Let's go, little junior brother. I'll take you to see the powerhouses in our Soul Eater domain. After a while, Haoenia's silver cloak showed off, setting off her delicate body like a fairy that can't eat fireworks, and the silver mist all over her body, like a real empress of the Agi. After a while, the two came to the hall one after the other. The hall is divided into 2 floors. The steps on the 2nd floor go up and down. Below is a crowd of strong people. Dozens of strong people stare at the statues in the hall. As for the top, a statue is lifelike. The black throne slowly appeared, dragons and phoenixes danced on the black throne, and countless supreme powers permeated. Welcome the queen. Seeing Haoenia's expression, many strong men said in unison. Report to the queen now. There are all the generals on the spaceship in the Soul Eater domain, a total of 152 people, all gathered. Please instruct the queen. Bai Zi was wearing blue armor, like a statue, like a true ***** of war. He walks the most solemn etiquette. Everyone, my lord has returned, everyone can rest assured. Everything that the Lord of Li Soul has committed to our soul-devouring domain must be repaid with blood today. In this battle, only success is allowed, not failure. Bai Zi obeyed and ordered you to bring 1/5 of the strong to attack the court of adjudication of the 5 court. Yuan Feng, order you to bring 1/5 of the strong and Xiao Yang to attack the next fortress of the Senate together. The 2 guardians and elders, follow me to the front line and watch the changes. Remember, before the 5 major courtyards are broken, the 8-star fighting immortals cannot take action, let alone appear. If you encounter the demon guards of the Demon of Light, don't talk to them. It found a conflict. If the demon guard insists on entanglement, it will be cut off. A majestic voice emerged from Haoenia's indifferent tone. Definitely. Let's go. Immediately, Soul Eater domain belonged to, and left here in a mighty manner, and attacked the 5 major courtyards. For a time, Li Soul domain was facing the simultaneous attack of the Devil of Light and Soul Eater domain, and the situation was quite endangered. Li Soul territory, this is an extremely fertile territory, with outstanding ghosts and spirits, with countless heaven's favorites, but now, it is full of wolf smoke, countless gloomy ghosts, and a halo like pure white light. Purify ghosts. The territory of Li Soul territory is extremely vast. Except for some countless forces that are basically vassalized under Li Sol territory, it is the 5 Great Court. The 5 courtyards are distributed in turn in the center of Li Sol domain. As for the arrangement of the 5 courtyards, they also vaguely form a pentagram, which is located in the center of the 5-point star formation, which is the entrance to the main temple of Li Sol. Today, among the 5 major courtyards, except for the Earth Spirit Institute, the other 4 courtyards suffered heavy losses for a while, but fortunately, the 4 major temples dispatched strong men to ease their predicament a little, but for this reason, they were also extremely uncomfortable. There is just one thing that is quite strange. Whether it is Li Sol domain or the Demon of Light, they only send some backbones to attack and resist. There has never been an 8-star Doshian level powerhouse. The two seem to form some kind of tacit understanding. And now, with the management of the 4 Hall Masters of Li Sol domain, the Demon Guards have also been defeated for a while, but the army of Soul Eater domain is trailing behind. The Senate occupies a huge mountain range, and in front of the mountain there is a smooth river that wraps the mountain range. Only by breaking through this river can the Senate be attacked. It is strange to say that the most important targets of the Demon Guards are actually the Court of Justice and the Court of Adjudication. On the contrary, there are hardly many Demon Guards in the Senate. Sir, the front is the river at the foot of the Senatorium Mountain. It is said that this river is called Yuenhe. It is a rather strange ghost river, and there are several 6-star fighting immortals guarding it here. The team of dozens of people walked slowly. On the path, one of the scouts couldn't help but say, 6-star fighting immortals, even in such a tense situation, is a very important backbone. And the purpose of their team is to destroy this place, and to explore the background of the Senate and stay behind the strong, so that the main force of Soul Eater Field is ready to fall in one fell swoop. This is how Enia's genius. First, he sent a team to the battlefield to inquire about news, to avoid unnecessary losses and conflicts with the Demon Guards. Once the battle situation was thoroughly understood, and most of the entire army of Soul Eater would attack, that would be the real deal-s war. The purpose of doing this is also to wait for the return of the Lord of Soul Eater. After all, even if Hao Nia's strength has reached the 8-star Do immortal consummation, when he mentions the Lord of Soul Li, he still feels a little powerless. Xiao Yang Shaoxia, I don't know what you have in mind. Yuan Feng, who was leading the team, couldn't help asking after listening to the scout's message. Captain Yuan, you're welcome, but I don't think this river is simple. And now there are 11 of us, and there are only 2 of the 6-star Dozian. If we collide with them head-on, I'm afraid it would not be a wise choice. Xiao Yang looked around and found that not far away from everyone, there was a vast ocean, azure blue. Above the surface of the water, it is quite quiet, but I am afraid that there is no net within it. Today's Xiao Yang is also relying on the power of the ghost face and soul flame to disguise as a simple man, which is difficult for ordinary people to detect, but the ancient ruler of the eternal fire is still on his shoulders. After all, not many people will associate it with him. Captain, I said that young hero Xiao Yang was too vigilant. Now that Li Huanyu has been attacked by the Demon of Light for several months, people have been panicked. I think this Yuenhe is just a false name. To smooth it out here, to open the way for the adults, to smooth the Senate, then it will be a great achievement. Several others disagreed with Xiao Yang's statement and questioned. The 11-member team, led by Yuan Feng, is in the middle stage of 6-star Dozian, and one of them is Yuan Yi in the early stage of 6-star Dozian, and the others are all at the late stage of 5-star Dozian. Therefore, many people did not like to see Xiao Yang. After all, Xiao Yang's strength was too weak, and Xiao Yang was the disciple of the Master of Soul Eater, and not everyone knew about it. You guys. Yuan Feng immediately frowned when he heard this. Although he didn't know Xiao Yang's identity, how could a guy who could follow Queen Hao Enia in the hall be a generalist? Never mind. Let's split up in a while. If you are willing to follow me, let's go together. Xiao Yang looked at the divided team and shook his head helplessly. He knew that his top priority was to enter the temple to look for Acacia Brokenheartitis. Besides, the strong guards here are only 6-star fighting immortals, and it is not difficult for Xiao Yang to fight against him now. Let's go. As soon as the voice fell, 11 people were suddenly divided into 2 teams. Xiao Yang and Yuan Feng were a pair, and the other 9 were a pair. You guys. Yuan Feng couldn't help frowning when he saw this scene. Captain, the troops are divided into 2 groups, that's all. Saru Yi said. Let's go. Xiao Yang was powerless to quibble, and immediately headed towards Yuan He. Hey, I hope these guys are all right. Yuan Feng heard the words and separated from each other and followed Xiao Yang. No matter what Xiao Yang is, Yuan Feng, as the captain, naturally wants to protect this guy. Humph, isn't it just some powerful person, really think they are some kind of thing, only in the middle stage of 5-star fighting immortal. The 9 people couldn't help muttering when they saw Xiao Yang and the 2 leaving. Everyone is quite convinced of Hao Enia's rule and management, But it is this kind of respect that makes Xiao Yan a goddess that no one can violate in Soul Eater domain. Xiao Yang was actually with Xiao Yan at that time. As soon as the news of the children being side by side came out, it immediately made him a thorn in the eyes of everyone, so they were deeply resentful. The power division of Soul Eater domain, the Lord of Soul Eater, followed by the 4 guardians, the 7 courtyards, and the elders. Xiao Yang Shaoxia, I hope you don't take what happened just now. The intentions of these guys are not bad, it's just because of Queen Xiao Yan. Xiao Yang and Yuan Feng walked towards Yuan He. Yuan Feng hurriedly explained, for some reason, Yuan Feng's mid-stage strength of 6-star fighting immortals, they all felt an unfathomable feeling from Xiao Yang, which made Yuan Feng quite puzzled. Queen Xiao Yan? Xiao Yang wondered. Since the Lord of Soul Eater disappeared, Lord Xiao Yan took over Soul Eater realm and issued various decrees, making Soul Eater realm unprecedentedly prosperous, so the queen is sacred and inviolable in the hearts of everyone, Master Xiao Yang. The hero and the queen are side by side, so. Yuan Feng grinned. Sure enough, it's a beauty and a disaster. Xiao Yang smiled helplessly, but I have to say that senior sister Xiao Yan is the top in terms of strength and beauty. The moment the two of them were talking, a few figures appeared on the sidewalk, and they looked like fallen guards. Wait, someone is here. After a while, Xiao Yang said nothing, gently lifted Yuan Feng's clothes, wrapped the two with his soul power, and drowned them in the Yuanhe. This guy, so strong. At this time, Yuan Feng discovered that Xiao Yang's soul power had reached the late stage of Taishu, and even this keen perception was even more surprising. This video will end here.